Hi, I'm Rebecca Fredericks and welcome to RebeccaFredericksTV, the place to be for your personal and professional success. In today's One Day Tip, I want to talk to you about small talk because it's an incredibly useful skill to have and use in a variety of situations. Small talk is basically the kind of chat we engage in with people we don't really know. Think comments about the weather, questions about how someone got somewhere, or talk about the traffic. And small talk is a skill. It obviously comes easier to extroverts, but it's still quite tough for a lot of people. So today I wanted to give you some tips to help you become better at making small talk. Because however irrelevant it sounds, it's actually an important thing to be able to do, particularly for your career. A study at the Stanford University School of Business tracked a group of MBA students for a full 10 years after they graduated, and the study found that it was their ability to converse rather than their grades that determined how successful they eventually became. Now, I'm not the best at small talk, especially when I'm at an event on my own and everybody else seems to know each other. I remember a specific horrible time when I was at a golf networking day for the licensing industry. I arrived and was one of the only women there, the youngest by about 10 years, a non-golfer and seemingly the only person who didn't know anyone. As you can imagine, I was pretty embarrassed and headed straight over to the breakfast table to busy myself with tea and food. And as I stood there on my own, I realised that I could either spend the day feeling stupid, completely on my own, or I could get involved. So I put the half-eaten plate of food down, brushed the crumbs from around my mouth, and headed over to the least intimidating group of people I could see, where I pushed my way in and I started to talk. And I've not looked back. Although I still find it difficult in those work situations, I use the tips I'm going to take you through now, and they help me every time. So let's have a look at my top tips. 1. Have the outcome in mind. So why are you there? What do you want and need to accomplish? Whatever the reason, you want to have an okay, if not really good time, and I promise you, you won't be doing that by standing on your own. Whatever the situation and whoever is there, you will have a better time talking to them and interacting than not. And more than that, you may actually make a great new work contact or even a new friend. So, approach any small talk situation with the mindset that you want to have a good time or accomplish something. And the only way you'll have even a chance of doing that is if you actually talk to the people there. 2. Prepare. Come up with 4 or 5 standard stock questions you can ask or comments you can make wherever you are and whoever you're with. Then, when you're at a blank for what on earth to say to the man with a massive beard, glasses and a twitch, you can launch into your pre-prepared questions and comments rather than rack your brains or start asking desperate and inappropriate questions about what beard shampoo he uses. 3. Get the other person talking. If you're shy and uncomfortable talking to people you've not met before, I always like to ask some open-ended questions to get the other person talking, and from there target my questions around what they've just said. So, for example, let's say that you're at a networking event. You're on your own and everyone else you can see is talking to someone. My advice would be to find the friendliest looking group of people and walk up to them. They'll inevitably make way for you, although the conversation may momentarily stop. If this happens, don't panic. Ask an open-ended question and wait for someone to answer it. Something like, "Hi, sorry to barge in. My name's Susie and I'm with Ernst & Young. This is my first time at one of these events. Has anyone been to one of these before?" This kind of disclosure, followed by a question, will break down any barrier between you and a group who know each other, because inherently they will want to help you out and be nice to you. We've all been in that situation before and know how it feels. You're also giving them the opportunity to talk, which generally people enjoy doing. 4. Pay attention during introductions. When you're being introduced to someone or they're introducing themselves to you, make sure that you are listening and paying attention to what they're saying. This information will provide content for you to use in your small talk. For example, let's say that your host introduces you to someone by saying, "This is Brian. Brian is with Grey Advertising, but before that was with McCann Erickson for 5 years." You could then use this information to ask him a number of questions. Anything from why he decided to leave McCann Erickson, to which campaigns he worked on, to what he now does for the agency. 5. Be aware of body language. If you're looking nervous, fidgeting, and looking around desperately, people aren't going to want to talk to you. Make sure that you are aware of what your body is doing and what messages you're giving off. If you want people to approach you and talk to you, you need to make it as easy for them to do this as possible. So smile, be friendly, stand with an open posture, be confident and comfortable with yourself. So no arm crossing, no slumped shoulders and looking to the floor. Invite people over to you rather than intimidating them or scaring them away with negative body language. And when talking, be sure to remain positive. Get into rapport with them by matching and mirroring their body language to make them feel immediately comfortable with you. If you want to learn more about building rapport and exactly how to match and mirror, then download my free webinar on the relationships section of the website called How to Attract the Man You Want. You also need to be aware of their body language. By using your sensory acuity, you will be able to gauge how the other person is feeling by reading their non-verbal cues and body language. So, if your last remark about the Syrian conflict went down like a lead balloon, you'll be able to see this from their body language and move the conversation on to safer ground. 6. Prepare some exit lines. Sometimes we get stuck talking to someone we really don't want to be talking to, and however hard we try, we just can't turn the conversation around. In these instances, I recommend having some pre-prepared exit lines at the ready to save yourself from any more pain. Some exit lines I often use include, "I'm terribly sorry, I've just seen someone I absolutely must go and say hello to." Or, "I'm starving, so I'm going to go and grab some food, but perhaps we can catch each other later on." So come up with a couple of options that sound authentic to you and practice saying them naturally and confidently. 7. Be confident. What I mean by that is that you need to be confident that the people around you are going to want to talk to you and find what you have to say interesting. People who find small talk particularly tough often tell me that they think they're boring and that no one is going to want to talk to them. Well, this is just rubbish. Of course people are going to want to talk to you. You are a fascinating person with a lot of value to add to any conversation or any event. Believe in this and trust it. If you need specific help with confidence issues, do head over to the products section of RebeccaFredericksTV and check out my video training on the self-confidence system for more specific advice and help on building your self-confidence. 8. Find some common ground. By staying on top of the news and the latest information about the world and the people in it, you will be able to find some common ground from which to launch a conversation. This could be anything from how ridiculous you think a celebrity's baby name is to your feelings about the local government. Anything that you think the person you are talking to will be interested in or have an opinion about. 9. Use empathetic reflecting. Now, empathetic reflecting is the process whereby you restate what the other person just said to you. According to clinical psychologist Carl Rogers, this is a powerful tool to use in situations where you want someone to feel at ease with you. Much like rapport building, empathetic reflecting makes the other person believe that you understand them and in turn subconsciously makes them think that you are like each other. Using tools like this can be very effective when you're wanting to make a good impression or create a friendship with that other person. So those were my top tips. I hope you find them useful. Remember, small talk isn't necessarily easy for anyone, but by following any or all of these tips, you will find yourself more confident and more comfortable in your next small talk situation. Now, you're not going to like your exercise of the week, but it will be good for you, so I'm going to ask you to do it anyway. So head over to the subscriptions part of the website if you want these tips and the exercise blueprint for this exercise, as well as some additional exercises which I've set for today, as well as the other course materials for the episode. Now, your main exercise for today is to spend 10 minutes talking to a complete stranger using some or all of the tips we just went through. Now, I'm confident you'll be sensible about who you pick to talk to. Think the granny at the bus stop and not the creepy guy in the alleyway you see at 11 p.m. on your way home from the bar. Be sensible, but do pick a complete stranger. Write down the tips that you're going to practice and talk to them for a whole 10 minutes. Then, write down in the blueprints which worked and which didn't, and why you think they didn't work for you. It may be that Granny had never seen Friends, so telling her that the cat that walked past looked just like Phoebe's smelly cat definitely wasn't going to facilitate a debate about whether Friends really was propaganda created by the American government. Whatever your conclusions, write them down and then try again using some of the other tips until you've tried them all and know which ones work well for you and which you are confident about using in the future. And then, when your next small talk opportunity pops up, be sure to use the tips you found most useful. And let us know which ones work for you and share any others that you use and find helpful. We love hearing from you, and learning from each other is what we're all about. Now, your Monday tip tweetable is, you can be a very charismatic introvert. Olivia Fox-Cobain. As always, remember that you are in control of your own life. If you want something to happen, you have to go out there and make the changes. That's not to say that others can't support you and help you. That's why I'm here, and that's what your friends and family are for. But you have all the power that you will ever need inside yourself. So use it and create a life and a future that you love. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.